Hi everyone, Ted here, and today we're going to be looking at the Huawei P20. Now, the P20 came out last year, 2018. I don't remember when, probably in the Q2 around spring. But I just got this phone August of 2019. And I'm just going to go over, what it's been like using this phone. This is the first phone I have used from Huawei, which is actually the reason why I got this phone. And it's also the first Android phone that I've used that has only the USB-C port with no headphone jack. It's also the first phone I've used that has a notch. It's not a serious notch like you see on iPhones, but it's a notch nonetheless. And also, it's the first phone I've used that has a monochrome sensor, a black and white sensor, which is actually why I purchased this phone. So this phone is a lot of firsts for me, and using this phone has been I'm gonna get right into it. It's been a joy. But let me just give you a rundown of this specs. This is the P20 model, not the Pro model. So this phone has 128 of non-expandable storage. Normally this phone comes with dual SIM support if you get it in a European model, but I bought this model that was meant for the US markets. And it doesn't have dual SIM support. They even on the SIM tray, they even got rid of that. They put a bar across the SIM slot. Two cameras, one 20 megapixel black and white sensor, and one 12 megabytes RGB sensor, your regular camera. The phone is a glass build, and it's an 18:9 aspect ratio with the display and the feel of the phone, which makes it very easy to hold. There does have a traditional fingerprint sensor that works very fast and very good. 4 gigabytes of RAM. This phone is GSM unlocked, and it has a very nice glossy 1080p panel. And battery life is battery in here is 3,200 megapixel. So, like I said, I got this phone in 2019 of August, and I purchased this for about just shy of $300. It was refurbished, I believe, from Walmart. But you can find this phone for around $260, $280 if you go to sites like Swappo or eBay. I'm actually in the middle of selling this on eBay right now. I'll include that in the description link below. But you can get this for a very good price. And let me go through the cons first. Things I don't like about this phone is that no headphone jack, and another thing I don't like is that the camera UI is the user experience is kind of weird and not intuitive. Like on Huawei phones, portrait mode means the portrait mode effects. Stage lighting and black and white. Let me hold on. Let me show you. This is what portrait mode means on a Huawei phone. If you're looking for that blurry, shallow depth of field mode, then you'd want actually aperture mode. And this does have a night mode, but it's nothing compared to what you find on the new iPhones or Pixels. So on the video mode, to get more out of the video mode, you'd actually have to go to settings, and depending on what options you pick in your video mode in the settings, that might disable some things, and the phone won't let you know like why isn't this working. So yeah, it's like a lot of stuff in here. Otherwise though, I do like the pictures that you can get from this camera, even though if they are a bit heavy on the contrast. The cons I have with this device, one is that There's no expandable storage. The Huawei's P series never ever had expandable storage. This model has pre-installed apps, so it's stuff from everything from Facebook and stuff from Virgin Media, which I can't delete. That sucks. I can disable them, but I can't delete them. It has no headphone jack and no dual SIM card support, but I know that going in, so I can't fret too much about that. And but that's about it for in terms of the cons. For this phone that I paid for about $290, which none of those are actually deal breakers. If you're looking at this phone, I mean, unless you're dead set on finding a phone that has you know, a headphone jack or something, or like you really do need expandable storage. But like everyone is just, I think we're it's for $300 though. I've actually like it's actually okay. But yeah, those are the cons I had. Performance has been pretty great. I haven't experienced any lags or stutters. There's not gonna be anything like laggy or glitchy to show you now because I factory reset this phone because I'm planning to sell it if I get a good price for it. But like I said, no lags or stutters. The display is amazing and it's certainly better than any iPhone with an LCD display. Regardless of like if it has an LCD display, it's this display is going to be better than it. The colors are nice. It's a very glossy looking feel, and I really like. It's actually something like I didn't like. I thought I wasn't going to be wowed by an LCD display ever since I started like using devices with AMOLED screens, but this display has pretty much impressed me. And the fact that I could get this for $300, this look the display is pretty amazing. I mean, it's like fine. Let alone leave like the iPhone 8 Plus out of it, which is like the last LCD display that has full HD. This is like I prefer this display better than what I have on my iPad Pro. The 2018 iPad Pro. Outside the fact of the Pro Motion, 120 hertz gigahertz refresh rates. This is a good display. Another thing that I really love is the camera performance. I can get beautiful images from this camera, and if whether if I want to be lazy or if I want to put in effort, the effort that I want to put into my photos will show with this sort of phone, and that it also translates to video as well. There are some things where I'm going to try to show you during this video while I'm talking, the images I was able to get from this phone. But 1080p, you can get very, very nice, stabilized 1080p footage from this phone. Also, very good is battery life. This was just a 3200 milliampere battery, but by God, does it not last me the whole day. It pretty much had the same battery life as the iPhone 8 Plus. Which was that's the other daily driver I was using while I was using this phone. Another pro with this phone, what is the fingerprint sensor? This is the best fingerprint sensor I've ever used so far to date. And I think that's one of the hallmarks of Huawei. They make pretty amazing hardware, and sometimes it's hit or miss with the software that you get with it. But I think their hallmark features of Huawei is fingerprint sensor and battery life, battery performance. Also, I would like to give a kudos on the build of this phone. Like this is a pretty much, even though it's black, it's a pretty much sexy looking and feeling phone. It's classy. And when you combine it with this black build with a glossy, screen, like it very it punches out to me. Even like where the notch is cool because right here you have like a circular like in headset with a next to a circular front facing camera which is 20 megapixels, but it also has a red accented power button, which they do very well. Yeah, Huawei does I always kind of laugh when, manufacturers just just sprinkle a sensor, sprinkle some color on the power button. Like, if you're not gonna change the color of the power button, go home. Like, just keep it uniform. Like, what's this little line on the power button you're gonna do? But even it somehow makes it look nice. It's probably because of the black edge, black, aluminum sides. Oh, using this phone, because this phone came out last year, I was able to find very, affordable cases for this phone. But they were on Chinese sites though. But saying that, I was able to find this Huawei OEM case for about $7 on Amazon. So I'll just put this in here. And the cool thing about this case is that if I just put it in, it'll actually show me the time. Wait, yeah, it'll show you the time. I don't know how it knows that. How do you know you're using this case? But it'll show you the time on the clear. Like, yeah, you see what it does. In terms of protection, minimal protection, but you can't like easily use your camera. You'd have to. But I'm not really here to talk about the case. But I was able to get like a case for like about $6 or $7 I paid for this. And one amazing feature that I didn't know this phone had was desktop mode. Well, do you know Samsung DeX? Well, with this phone, hold on one moment. With this phone, if you plug in a dongle with an HDMI cable, you can use this phone like a computer. I mean, seriously, yeah, just plug this. You just plug this phone there, and just plug an HDMI, port and cable into it, into your monitor. Oh, let's light it up. And you can use this phone as a computer. You can connect a mouse and keyboard to it via Bluetooth, and the user interface will operate like a desktop. It's pretty much exactly like Samsung DeX. But the thing is, Huawei was able to do this in 2018 with just an HDMI cable. I mean, you can just use like a USB-C to HDMI. Huawei was able to do this at a time when Samsung required you to buy a separate accessory. And here, the only thing you need is the cable. With Samsung, you needed the accessory and the cable, but here you just need the cable. And using this phone in desktop mode is pretty amazing. I mean, because like imagine, I'm using, what I would find I was doing is, I would just take pictures with this phone, and then, I would just, bring it over to my monitor, and I would just edit the photos there. Or like if I wanted to web browse, I would just, if I wanted to feel fancy, I'll just, connect this phone to my monitor and just, open up Chrome and just start web browsing. It's pretty great. And it's certainly like, if I wanted to travel light, it's certainly something I can use, consider doing where, on certain monitors, like TV monitors. Can I do that? I don't know if you can do that. Let me know in the comments below. But like, you know how TVs like have like a TV monitor where if you can plug this to a TV monitor and just, change the source to, this HDMI, if you could use this as that would be amazing if you could do that in a hotel room. Shoot, I'm going to try that. If I'm going to try that, and I'll put it down in the description or comments, how it went out. But that's all, folks. Thank you for watching this review. Have a good day. Like I said,